I'm an engineer entrepreneur, curious about everything. I mean, everything. Curious to a fault, if that's possible. I like people. I didn't always like people, but somewhere in the early 80s, something snapped and I began to appreciate people more. But I don't like people who are late.
When it comes to revolutionary computing technology, Bob Metcalfe was there from the start. In 8th grade, he'd built his first crude computer with parts scavenged from model trains. And in October 1969, while a graduate student at Harvard, he'd helped establish the world's first computer network between the massive university mainframes of the ARPANET.
At Xerox Research, where I went in 1972, we decided to build the first personal computer, arguably the first personal computer, which needed a different kind of network.
At Xerox, the vision was clear. A machine at every desk, hundreds in total, all sharing a single printer. Networking them fell to Metcalfe. At the time, networking was no small task. Different computer systems spoke wildly different languages. Expensive mainframe computers served as interpreters, but these had to be extensively tailored to every single device on the network. New machines couldn't be added easily, and ultimately, there was a limit to the number of devices a mainframe could handle. Metcalfe's solution needed to be simple to use. Physical cables that could easily connect new machines to the network, eliminating the mainframes and limitations on new connections. A chip at every connection point, uniting computers with a standard set of rules for sending and receiving information. Metcalfe had invented a universal design for computer communication. But although he used thick coaxial cables to connect his initial network, he planned for a future that could be built on any medium.
The ether, or luminiferous ether as it was called, was a physics theory that said there was a medium that carried light from the sun to the earth, just like air carries sound. So we chose that word, ether, an omnipresent, passive medium for the propagation of electromagnetic waves, Ethernet.
Metcalfe went on to found 3Com, which helped put Ethernet into new computers everywhere. As it linked more and more devices over wires and airwaves, Ethernet became the data-pumping heartbeat of a connected world. For someone who didn't always like people, Metcalfe has become something of a tech industry folk hero, like that time in the 90s when he penned an editorial forecasting the internet's demise.
I did not forecast the demise of the internet. I forecast the collapse of the internet that would last for a certain period of time. And we had one of those. We just didn't have one as big as the one that I predicted. I was only off by a factor of 8.
Yet, having promised critics he'd eat his words if he was wrong, Metcalfe did exactly that on stage at a World Wide Web conference as thousands cheered.
I took the column and put it in the blender and ate it.
Today, Ethernet remains the bedrock of our digital infrastructure, a conduit to the boundless digital age, ensuring that the world is just a click away.